Cheers, everyone. Welcome to the New Populist. I'm Dave Brown. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Well, I want to discuss MAGA communism. This has been trending on Twitter the last several days, and I thought it was be worth talking about because it's gained a lot of steam. Now, on the face of it, it's a ridiculous idea that we take communists and we take MAGA supporters and have them work together against some things that we have overlapping opinions on. For example, the CIA and the FBI and some of the attacks on our civil liberties, just to name a couple things. But when you look at our similarities, the problem is the things that we disagree on are so much more important, so much more fundamental to who we are, that even those similarities aren't enough to have us work together. Now, remember this. If you are a true Orthodox Marxist, you believe in the fundamental transformation of our system. Not its improvement, incremental improvement, the destruction, the transformation. The best example of that, of course, is 1917, the Russian Revolution, when the Bolsheviks overthrew the government. They weren't looking to improve upon the existing government and the existing system. They were looking for its complete transformation and destruction. And so, right off the bat there, the idea that we can somehow work together is absolutely just sort of nonsensical. And one thing I've noticed too is that the people who are pushing this idea aren't in either camps. They're not MAGA and they're not communists. So what exactly is their interest in pushing this idea? I can only guess. I think that they're kind of being clever, thinking, okay, I'm not in either camp. I'm sort of this political nomad. Well, I have this idea. Why don't these two groups work together? So that they're not really committed to the idea in the sense that they're part of it. It's more of an experiment for them, a social experiment. Hey, let's see if we can get these two sides to work together while we're on the sidelines watching. And so I'm always cautious about taking the advice of people who are not part of the thing they're talking about. So that's kind of my other problem with this whole MAGA communism idea. And the other issue too is, how do you make change? You go and you vote. Now, if you're a MAGA person who believes in capitalism and free markets, are you going to vote for a Marxist? Absolutely not. So in what sense are we going to work together to make change? Because we're not going to vote for communists, and those communists are not going to vote for MAGA. And on that note, MAGA is a big movement. About 35% of the country is perhaps MAGA. How many real Orthodox Marxists are out there? A very tiny few people are actually real Marxists. So what interest would we have as MAGA to work with this tiny bit of Marxists over here? Well, for me, it's absolutely zero. They're not going to impact our electoral bloc in any way that's significant. We're not going to be pushed over the edge because we work with the Marxists. That's nonsensical. And there's always a danger too when you work with radicals. Now, if you, again, back to this Russian Revolution example, many of the people who supported the Bolsheviks weren't real Marxists. They were just disgruntled people who were living in terrible times during this World War I. They were desperate. They wanted to change, so they went along with something. It only takes a small group of people who are highly motivated to cause a massive problem, have a high impact. So I think there's a danger in ever sort of inviting the wolf into the hen's house. So I don't need to mess with these people and associate with these people and bring them into our fold to have them spread their rot in the barrel. I'd rather leave them alone. If we agree on a few things, great. Every group of people agree on some things. I can't stand Hillary Clinton. I'm sure there's things where me and Hillary Clinton will actually agree. Does that mean I'm going to vote for her? Hell no. But simply agreeing on a few things is not enough to actually work together. And I heard a commentator also point out that or say that Marxism or Marxists were the same as communists. Is this true? Actually not. This gets a little nebulous, a little academic, but Marxists believe in a certain process into which society will change into a communist system. They have a whole scientific sort of formula for how this is going to happen. It's very process oriented, whereas a communist just believes that there's going to be or believes in a communal government where everything is publicly owned. So you can be a Marxist and also be a communist, but some communists aren't Marxist. Actually, let me rephrase that. All Marxists are communists, but not all communists are Marxists, if you understand what I'm saying. So they're not the two same things. They just happen to usually agree with one another most of the time. And again, Marxists are communists, and most communists are Marxists. So again, that's sort of an academic thing, not to be confusing, but they aren't exactly the same thing. And the last thing I'll say is that there are people on the left who we perhaps can work with, but they're not, again, the Marxist types. They're the progressive, more liberal types who want better conditions for workers. They support the working class. These are not your Orthodox Marxists. They're just people on the left. If there's something we can agree on and we can support legislation in Congress that is something that MAGA and some of these leftists agree with, great, no problem. Will that happen very often? Probably not, which is the problem. Nancy Pelosi has Congress locked down, at least in the House. And so even if we have people on the left who may agree with us on certain things, for them to go off the reservation and go against Nancy Pelosi probably isn't happening. At least that's what history has shown. So for the MAGA movement, we need to focus on our Republican candidates who are pro-MAGA, who are anti-neocon. That's how we're going to get power back, through the primary process, by pushing people into the Republican Party who are not globalist scum. That's how we take power back, not uniting with the communists. It is a terrible idea, and nobody in MAGA should give it any serious consideration. Well, that's it for now. Again, if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.